Dodgers seem to be in a little bit of trouble here. They're trailing in this series now, and the Braves are up 2-0 going to Los Angeles. So they've ensured themselves that this series is going to end in Atlanta. And there's a lot being made over the Dodgers' decision to have Julio Urias come out of the bullpen, and the Dodgers kind of pivoting in their late game setup with a 4-2 lead, using Urias against the Braves lefty hitters after a lot of context that's built into that. But what did you make of that decision, David?
I think it's easy to second guess it now because it didn't work. Urias has relief experience, at least in the past, and he's that type of a pitcher where he loves to have the ball. I'm sure once they told him about it, he was all for it. I'm sure there was not any reluctance. If you compare or contrast that to maybe the Yankees' plan of an opener last year with, Davy Garcia starting the first inning, then J Happ reluctantly coming in the second inning and watching him warm up before that particular game, there was no buy-in from it. So I think the Dodgers had full buy-in from Urias. I just think it just didn't work out in that particular game. And that's so easy to second guess. The fact that it didn't work out, he's a starter, you got him out of his routine. Well, he's a pitcher first. You're a pitcher first, and it's the postseason. And you're willing to do anything at that point. And he's done it in the past. So, I think the Dodgers think outside of the box. They're obviously analytically driven, and James could probably get into this a little bit more in terms of, the strategies as they change and from regular season to postseason, and how the managers manage a little bit differently in the postseason. But certainly, I didn't have a problem with it at the time, and I'm reluctant to second guess it now, just because it didn't work.
Well, Urias, he has experience starting and relieving. He was great in the postseason last year for the Dodgers during their championship run, and he closed out the series against the Rays. And he was used to some unconventional usage just in the previous series. The last minute switch to Corey Knebel before to make the start in Game 5, and Urias came in after Knebel and Brusdar Graterol and pitched a great 4 innings in San Francisco to really key the Dodgers win there in Game 5. And the one issue I would have is, and you saw it a little bit with Max Scherzer last night in Game 2 in Atlanta, how much does it compromise the starter for their next game? So Scherzer slammed the door in Game 5, and he was not right last night, and he kind of had a little bit of an early exit than you'd expect for a future Hall of Famer like Scherzer. And he said it changed his preparation, and it was an issue for him there. And now, how does last night's appearance change for Urias going into the next game, his next scheduled start, whether it's Game 4 or Game 5?
See, that's what I'm hung up on. Scherzer, you can't nitpick because, look, they had him pitch the 9th inning in a Game 5. They were leading 2-1. Do what you need to do to get to the next round, right? In Urias's case, he threw 59 pitches in that game on Thursday. He had the 2 days of rest. Apparently, he told the front office during the Game 5 celebration over San Francisco, again, he's available any role at any time. I think, David, that goes back to your point. You're a pitcher first. You're going to have that mindset. But you have to factor in Blake Trinan needing only 9 pitches to get through that 7th inning in his second day of work. And you have Urias slated to start Game 4. So, my biggest question is all this, and I know he's worked in relief in the past, and if it works, we're not talking about it, but it didn't work. And it's not the only example. I know, David, you mentioned J Happ, Davy Garcia. That's an example that, hits closer to home for us, all our ties with the Yankees. You look at the Rays and Shane McClanahan earlier this postseason. Again, he had experience in the past working out of the bullpen, not this season. And I get wanting the matchups, but what do you think teams are so willing? Why are they so willing to put pitchers in largely unfamiliar roles during the most important games of the postseason? Where has the trust gone in these situations?
These are valid points. Yeah, absolutely. And it did well stated on both your parts, James and Justin. It makes you wonder the overall strategy with the Dodgers, in particular with the Dodgers, just to kind of nail down to the heart of the matter here. Maybe they're going to go with an opener again. Maybe they feel like they can limit the pitcher at bats offensively with the non-DH games against the National League teams, where the pitcher only is hit once. Maybe they see a real benefit there. Maybe they also see the benefit in, maybe continuing on with that opener strategy. Maybe Urias doesn't actually get a clean start in his next outing. Maybe they do opt for Blake Trinan or somebody else to open, somebody like that to open the game for them again. So it makes me wonder that the Dodgers are up to something. If there's a chance to get a platoon advantage, if you can flip-flop a lineup early, if there are teams that really rely on maybe more of a platoon situation, like the Rays or like
or the
that,
Giants,
or the Giants. Exactly. That's probably why the strategy was so appealing to the Dodgers in that category or in that situation, because they could really put the pressure off the opposing team on lineup construction and mess with them a little bit early and force their hand a little bit early. So yeah, it feels like there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen with the Dodgers, right? There's a lot of analytical information. There's a lot of top to bottom. And I think one of the most interesting statements and one of the most honest statements came from Dave Roberts, who said, he admitted, he used the term tippy top. These decisions are coming from the tippy top on down. And he's one of the first managers that have ever said that. And even admitted, he said, I have a vote, but that's all I really have. I have one vote here. This is the Knights of the Round Table. That's my expression that make these decisions. So kind of makes you wonder what the Dodgers are up to.